guys like this video, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you guys are interested in a personal session, check out my website, ReadingsWithBree.com. And now if you guys are interested in some more exclusive content, I now have my Patreon, The Cosmic Circle, Readings with Bree, where you're going to dive into weekly crystal ball and tarot readings, to monthly Q&As, hypnosis recordings, tarot classes, and more. So if you guys want to be an exclusive member and join me on that journey, I'll put the link below. But thank you to each and every one of you for all your love and support. It truly means the world to me, and I just love you guys so very much. So let's dive into the topics for today. Hello, beautiful souls. How are you guys doing today? I have been getting the nudge. I'm really excited to do a reading for you guys, and I actually have no idea what we're going to talk about today, but I've been really getting that nudge to just do an intuitive tarot oracle crystal ball reading. So I'm really excited to see what messages, Spirit has for us today. When we look at the number, I'm filming this on the 11th today, and when we look at that 11 energy, it is for me that portal. But I don't know. Let me know if you guys have been having the same experience, but I have been seeing the number 11, but more specifically 111 consistently over the last 48 hours. And it's just interesting that I'm also filming this on an 11 day. And when we look at the essence of the 111, it's like initiation, intuition, and illumination, and that's just a beautiful combo with that 111 energy. So I thought we would also pull, look at the starfish on the back of the deck. How beautiful is that? I thought we would actually pull one specific beautiful animal spirit guide as well to see how that's going to guide us through a tarot and crystal ball reading. So what can you share, Spirit? What do you want us to know for today? Oh, we have the Tarantula that came out. The Tarantula. Look at that, you guys. All right, so let's take a moment, and I'm going to actually just tune in and see what messages are coming out of the crystal ball, and then we'll also pull some tarot. Let's take a moment to look at this beautiful tarantula. I know sometimes it can be a little bit scary with spiders, you guys, but look at her. She is a beauty, and look at that fire and the creativity around her. Now, when we look at what the tarantula symbolizes and represents, it completely connects to this 11 energy that we're talking about. Again, filming on an 11 day, we're looking at that portal, consistently seeing the number 111. I know you guys are also having these experiences out there. And the tarantula appears when I feel like our souls are at a crossroads, because it's really about sensing, it's sensing our next step from more of an intuition and not from logic. And when we look at the stillness or the pause, the soul can really whisper so incredibly loud within that stillness and silence. So I've really been also getting a nudge to just go out in nature and do almost a channeling, or maybe bringing some oracle cards in a tarot read out within the forest. I think that would be so cool. So I'll definitely be putting that on my list next time I feel that intuitive nudge to go out into nature. I think that would make for a fun video. So with that being said, though, bringing our awareness back to the tarantula, this is saying that we are at a crossroads of purpose, and I know many of us have really reached a completion or a new directive energy that's pulsing beneath us, and that's really causing sometimes a lot of outer friction, especially with relationships or jobs, or being pulled in kind of a couple different directions. But again, that fire element is creative, it's transformative, and it's passion and also directive. So I want to say the big message that comes out of this tarantula oracle is, you guys, our inner compass already knows, and in that stillness is where sometimes the greatest awareness really does come, or the greatest clarity really does come. Now, I also wanted to touch note on the energy of why are spiders so feared, because we have this tarantula that can be a little scary looking, and if people see these creatures and these insects, they automatically get roped into fear. So let's talk about that for a moment. Well, one of the main things I feel like we can't dismiss is, again, the cultural conditioning, right? We look at the media, the movies, the myths, and the horrors that really paint this image about spiders, and they project quite a bit of like repetition to the mind and the body when it comes to associating them with danger or fear, rather than looking at them from a curious perspective. Because when we look at the actual symbolism behind the tarantula, it is they embody stillness, they embody patience, and also a lot of real big hidden power, and a lot of those qualities that people get triggered by or fear because they're scared of their own depths. So we can look at it as the spider really will sit quietly in the dark, right? And it will wait, and it'll sense, it'll feel the vibrations and wait and act when the moment is right. So I think that's a really big message as well, because our subconscious mirrors that, and it's part of ourselves that sometimes avoid doing that shadow work. So the fear isn't necessarily about the tarantulas or the big spiders or the little spiders, you guys. It's more about a representation of that spider inside of us. So I'm going to take a moment and see what other messages I can get from the crystal ball, and we'll go from there. All right, so let's see what's coming out here. So the first thing I'm seeing is quite interesting. They are diamonds, but they're balancing upon each other. And there's multiple different scenes of the same thing. There's two big diamonds right in the center, and then there's smaller diamonds off to the side. But they're all balancing. They have that tips, and the tips are coming together and balancing. And I can represent or relate this to duality, right? It's like the unity of polarities with the two diamonds coming together. It's the perfect consciousness mirrored in dual form. And when we look at also the connections with divine masculine and the divine feminine, it's really that intuition, it's form, it's spirit, it's really all of that is held in equilibrium. And this seems to be a topic that was coming out. I was talking with my friend earlier, and she was discussing Three-Eye Atlas and the downloads that she's been getting, and she was talking a lot about the masculine and the feminine. So this is also coming out in the crystal ball. So what a beautiful synchronicity here. But again, it's almost like when we see this, I feel like as a collective we are seeing them. The fact that they are balanced, you guys, is beautiful, because it's showing even the energetic coherence, I think, in the brain. From what I'm getting, it's like the inner and outer worlds are beginning to operate in sync. That is so cool. I'm going to actually pull some tarot on this as well. Okay, based off of that message, Spirit, what can you share when it comes to the collective being or entering into this vibration, or being into this vibration where we are in sync? Now, I also wanted to, I'm just been on this roll of like trying some new stuff today. So I'm going to actually pull a very different spread than what I usually pull. And I'm going to do, many of you guys may be familiar with this, but I'm going to look at the Celtic cross today and see what's coming out. So I'm going to have to refer a little bit to my, the online placements of them, but let's do this, Spirit. What can you share with us when it comes to the unity of the polarities, and seeing this from a perspective that humanity is at this energetic coherence where the left and the right are beginning to sync up and operate together? What can you share, Spirit? So this will be based off the collective. So current situation we have as the Magician, the challenge, 4, 5. Oh, sorry, you guys. That would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, this one's going to be fun. All right, let's see if I can just get that all in there for you guys. 1 second. All right, so diving into, this is the first time I've worked with a spread, but it just feels right. And looking at the current situation, we have the Magician, you guys. So there's another beautiful synchronicity. It shows that humanity is awakening. Guess what the Magician is? This is us having all the resources. This is us having the power, creative power. And the Magician really symbolizes all the tools, the mind, body, and spirit. And we're really learning to respond with, I would say, frequencies and not force. So I do think that that is that split with the worlds in where we're headed with a higher vibration and a higher frequency. The challenge, we have the Seven of Cups, and those are the veils. So the Seven of Cups is showing that for centuries we have had a mental fog that has caused illusions, that has caused distractions from the media, from these cabals and high elites that have continue to push a bunch of garbage and nonsense, and we became distracted and we bought into that and gave it power. So this is showing a lot of like, you know, also showing, I feel like in terms of the challenge, a lot of people right now are more confused than ever. Like, look at how crazy the world has been, and it's kind of sparking a lot of heated energy, which again, from my perspective, I see this as we need to stand up. We need to get heated in order to have this all come out. If there's just one or two of us, that's like, okay, whatever, right? Or sorry, like one or two of us that are fighting for this and the rest of us are just like sitting back and relaxing. These individuals actually looking at the past as well. The past is the 10 of Cups, right? But the past is them having power over us because we have given them that power and we've bought into these illusions here. So that's quite interesting. Big confirmation and things that we have been talking about yet again and again. It's almost like also, you guys, looking at the spider, it is the web, the dark web, all the weaves and all the entanglements from those, you know, oligarchs and centuries of empires trying to rule here. So that's ruling with force and ruling with ego and not with the heart. And I do see that adjusting and changing, but at the same time, you have to decide where you're going to stand internally, because I have been getting so many synchronicities that you guess what, you guys, the world, you know how we've talked about many people, including, let's say, Dolores Cannon, the world splitting. They have already split. Like, we are on a new earth right now from my perspective, but it's still overlapping with that old 3D. So it's not quite anchored into that split yet, but we have made that jump, and I've gotten that loud and clear multiple times now. So when we look at when we look at number 5, number 5 is the let me just see here. We went over 1, we went over 2. Number 3 is what we need to focus on. So number 3 is a representation of the Two of Pentacles here. So when we look at the Two of Pentacles, I would say this is about where are you focusing your energies. It's kind of balancing out. It's, you know what, you guys, this is very interesting because this is the yes, this is the infinity, but when I looked into the crystal ball, there were these two they were diamonds balancing on each other here, okay? I've got my head in the pyramids because we're headed out to Egypt pretty soon, so I'm really excited to see what amazing experiences and, you know, people we meet out there. So I'll be so excited to share with you guys when I get back. Now, when we look at what we need to focus on with the Two of Pentacles, I feel like this is where are we investing our energy? Where are you investing your energy in things that are going to drain you, or are you taking your power back? So that's what we need to focus on. Are you watching the media? Are you allowing yourself to get looped into these distractions? Because that's the challenge. All right. And then the 4 is the past, which is the 10 of Cups. But The Ten of Cups, I feel like, is in relations. Usually this is joy, this is happiness, but I feel like this is also a comfort zone and us buying into these illusions that, guess what, the government's going to come and save us, or etc. That's not the case, you guys. The government's not your friend. I'm sure many of you guys tuning into this already know, but that's where that illusions have been for centuries. I love this. I try not to skip ahead, but I love the outcome or the future here. But looking at number 5 is our strengths. And this is a representation as the Page of Wands. So if we look at that page, what does the Page of Wands represent? A spark of inspiration, a spark of light. We're getting that momentum to start to, guess what, see through the illusions and the distractions. I always like to use the example, it's like, say when you are intoxicated, you're not seeing right. There is a mental fog, and there has been a mental fog over humanity because of what a certain select few and groups and factions have really put or placed upon us. But the way that we are headed with that 11 energy, it's a portal and an opening, and the perfect divine timing when it comes to finally seeing through that veils, because they're not able to sustain it because earths have split. Okay, I guess I'll say symbolically, but we are on a whole new vibrational planet from the messages that I'm continuing to get. Now the sun as the outcome or the future. So the sun is beautiful because I see this as just joy and positivity, and I feel like this is going to be a whole new era, especially for the youth and the little ones. So the message that's coming in right now too is like our heart coherence, you guys, is far stronger than the fear and the illusions, and that's really what's coming through in this spread. So again, moving over and looking at like the advice, our environment, and some of the energy with the outcomes. So we have the Page of Swords coming up as our advice, and I feel like this is a big message when it comes to, this is also my social media card, but this is curiosity, you guys. This is a time to ask questions, to be curious. It's really speaking with precision, and I see like 2026, you guys, is going to be a hot year when it comes to whistleblowers, okay? Bringing those old empires down and people speaking their truth. So I had a question in one of my lives, I think, about asking if the majority of the collective are going to know about things such as, the pokies and the way the healthcare system is and the way they poison the foods. Going into next year, I do think that is going to be, with this card, way more of a probability to hear these actually coming out. Now, of course, it's probably not going to be the media broadcasting this. This is that media because they're wanting to cover it up. But what I've also seen is a bit of that dog eat dog. You're going to start to see these institutions start fighting themselves, and because everyone's just trying to scramble to hold on, and they're falling away. So they are scared like no other right now, and that's why there's such an intensity in the world right now, you guys. If we weren't making progress, we would not see the chaos that is happening right now, okay? Now, when we look at our environment, it comes out as the Seven of Wands, and I feel like I'm getting kind of, again, the duality, looking at this new energetic vibration within Earth and the old heavy 3D, because the Seven of Wands is a wounded warrior, and that could represent people standing up and fighting for their freedoms, but also part of people really trying to defend the old belief systems, and many are still protecting their territories because they're afraid of losing their identity in the collective that's emerging, and that's a big one coming out there, okay? When we look at the Two of Wands, again, we've got, look at that portal energy. I can't believe that card came out. Number 2, filming on 11th. This is a representation of the hopes and potential. Oh, sorry. My eyes are getting foggy, guys. Okay. I had to make my font a bit bigger here. So this placement is representing our hopes and fears. So when we look at the Two of Wands, there's that left versus right, you guys. And it's not to say that one direction is right and one direction is wrong, because we can't judge what another soul is going through, but it does show that humanity is hoping to see beyond the current horizon. So it feels like this is us planting those seeds and stepping into the next phase. It's a visionary and an expansion. So it's like coming into, I feel like we're coming into this cosmic adulthood where we're also going to see much more connections to also our star family in the years ahead. So that's quite a beautiful energy. But again, there are going to be some people that get trapped and stuck in their defending these belief systems when it comes to religion, when it comes to the political views. All of these things, you guys, are made to separate us and to keep us down. So it does show the splitting, like look at the splitting of worlds here, and this is happening, but we have to still anchor in where we're at. When I've looked into this in the past too, I do see like a, there's no going back time we get towards, the early 2030s. We are going to be fully anchored in to this new earth where you're not going to be able to really interact with these lower vibrations or lower frequencies. Now, kind of interesting that the King of Swords came out as the potential outcome. And we can see this as both two ways too, because I see this actually as a mental sovereignty, but sometimes that King of Swords could be that dictator as well, right? So when we look at the duality with that, and I do think that based off of this, a big thing too is we have been so mentally brainwashed on everything. This is our sovereignty. Depending on where you anchor yourself, this is your mental sovereignty. And then that is also linked to the heart, okay? Because I see this as humanity approaching an energetic coherence and being more in connection with their mind, and not just, with their heart and not just their mind or their logic. And I think an important thing too is like with this Seven of Swords, I feel like people are, this coherence is forming under pressure. It is a pressure cooker, and that's what this tarantula really represents, because some people will see this tarantula and run the other way, but others are going to be curious. They're going to look inside, because it's not that the tarantula is bad. It is just the vibration that I think some of us approach it with fear, because we have a fear of looking into the darker shadows of ourselves. So coherence, the connections are forming through pressure here, but the mind's being purified so the heart can now lead. All right, you guys, so that was quite beautiful with that spread. I'm just going to take a final few moments and see what else I can get in the crystal ball. All right, so I love the glimmer that's coming out of this, you guys. There's many star families and ancestors that are just absolutely with us right now, you guys, and we're gonna see more and more. I mean, pay attention to the skies. I feel like there's just ships all over the place within this crystal ball as well. But it's like I'm getting more of a downloaded message, and it's like what I'm getting to is like, you guys, every time we choose kindness over fear, it broadcasts a signal from our DNA, and it puts it out there into the universe. Like that's the field is alive, the field is breathing here, and we came here to experience separation, believe it or not. So reunion could be felt. Okay, that's what I get. Now, another important message that's really coming out too is I see our star family. Most likely this is the Pleiadians. They represent, or they symbolize to me, the Pleiadians. But there's something here about a big message, because I think a lot of us too, we like to label, our star family as being so advanced. And sometimes when we process that advancement to us means they're better, right? And that's not the case. It is showing that our star family here is the reflections of the states of consciousness, and that is with where humanity is starting to remember. So as we remember, they can then also reflect that with their heart coherence and our heart coherence. So I think it's quite interesting to say that they have same awareness, but we're all learning to recognize itself through different phases of creation. Okay, I think that's the main message there. Again, lots of just beautiful holographic light. So paying attention to like new technologies that are coming out. I feel like many are going to be linked to holographic lights. That's what I keep seeing as well. Okay. I think I will end on this interesting image I'm seeing. Again, remember at the beginning I seen like two diamonds balancing themselves. But what's coming out right now is, again, a massive triangle. But this triangle is almost a sense of a mirror. It's the mirror of creation, I guess we can say. And there's all of these threads, you guys, going within the triangle. But what's interesting is they're not going outside of it, they're within it. And how I can interpret this is it's like seeing it as space and time unfolding, you guys, inside of our awareness, not the other way around. And I feel like what we like to label ascension is actually just an integration, and it's the realization also that every vibration, even from the densest to the most radiant, becomes, or not becomes, but belongs to the same song, you guys. So that's quite beautiful. Let's end this on a angel oracle, or like an angel number here, because I love this deck as well. I am going to smile ear to ear if we get the number 11 or like 111. Let's see, Spirit, what do you want to share with us? Final messages when it comes to the collective on this day. We have the 7-7 and we have 15-15. All right, back of the deck is slow down. So let's see what we have here. We have 15-15, which is the big break, and this is about creation, progress, and moving forward. So these are opportunities coming towards us, and it's saying to keep going and to keep moving forward, because the most tremendous success will come from passion, and all efforts will be rewarded in big time. So that's some pretty big breaks coming out there. And we also have compromise, but this is linked to, guess what? Self-awareness and forgiveness and empathy. So when we look at this is about letting go of what no longer serves you, and stop holding on to these grudges and holding on to what is not ours, you guys. Express your emotions and aim towards compromise. Where there's a lack of misunderstanding, the truth will set you free. So that is beautiful, and the back of the deck is slow down with that 0404, and it's saying to pay attention to the people in your life, your surroundings, your physical health as well, and this isn't to freak anyone else, you guys. It's just a warning to be careful and to take care and observe. So look at boundaries. Again, remember that 2 of Pentacles. It's like, where are you guys investing your energy, your intentions, your thoughts? Bring that back to your center. Okay, so I love you guys so very much. I wanted to thank you for joining me on another crystal ball and tarot reading. As always, you guys light up my heart, and I love you guys. So until next time, let me know, you guys, if you guys have any questions or would like me to dive into any topics. But until next time, bye for now, lovely souls.